Hi and welcome to Maths class. This is the second video of learning to solve equations using the balance method. If you haven't watched the first video, go and watch that first. All I'm going to do in this one is go through two more worked examples. So the first thing I want to do is remind you that when I use the balance method, I need to do the same thing to both sides of the equation. I'm trying to get the pronumeral alone and I'm going to be using inverse operations. So here's the next example I'm going to do. It's x over 2 plus 5 equals 8. Now I'm not going to try and solve this by inspection, but if you can, maybe you can guess the answer ahead of time. Doesn't matter. What we need to do is practice this method. So the first thing I do is I look at the left-hand side and I think about what did I do to x in order to get x over 2 plus 5. Remember we did this in backtracking and I don't normally write this bit down, but this is my thinking. First, I divided by 2. That gave me x over 2. Then I added 5 and that gave me x over 2 plus 5. Remember that part? So of course, when I go backwards, I have to start at this end and go backwards. First, I'm going to be subtracting 5. Then I'm going to be multiplying by 2. So let's see how that looks. I subtract 5 from both sides, minus 5 and minus 5. So I've got x over 2 plus 5 minus 5 on the left. That just leaves me with x over 2. On the right, I've got 8 minus 5, which is 3. Okay, the second step here was timesing by 2. Because the first thing I did to x was divide by 2, so the inverse operation is multiplying by 2. So I multiply by 2 on both sides as well. So I'm going to go times 2 over this side and times 2 over on this side. Now these 2's will cancel each other out. That's the whole point, which leaves me with just x. And on the right, I get 3 times 2, which is 6. Let's just check it mentally. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Add 5 is 8. Yes, that's the answer I'm looking for. All right, one more example. So there's my equation. X plus 1 over 5 equals 3. So without writing it down, I'm going to think through what would I do to x first if I'm going to get x plus 1 over 5. I would go plus 1 first, and then I would divide by 5. So the last thing I did was dividing by 5, which means if I want to go backtracking, the first thing I need to do is multiply by 5. Multiply by 5 on the left and multiply by 5 on the right. Now the whole point of multiplying by 5 here is I've now got 5 divided by 5, which just leaves me with x plus 1 on the left. And on the right, I've got 3 times 5, which is 15. Now I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides of the equation. Minus 1, minus 1. X plus 1 minus 1 leaves me with x, and 15 minus 1 leaves me with 14. So x is the number 14. All right, that's the last of my worked examples for using the balance method.